Okay, so the main question is, does a TrickFlow R series upper intake fit on a street and track heat lower intake? First thing I noticed, obviously, if you look up the information on these parts online, you'll notice that the TrickFlow R series is about 3/4 of an inch taller. All right, so the lowers are listed at the same height, which pretty much kind of helps me figure out that the main casting is the same. The only thing different is the larger ports in the R series lower. If you look at the height of the intakes side by side, you can see there is a difference. Probably about 3/4 of an inch. Something else I was curious about is, what about the hardware? What's it take? Well, this is my stock street series bolt, and you notice, there's probably 6 or 7 threads there. It's about 3 threads shorter than what you have on the regular street heat, but 6 or 7 threads. We're not torquing these things, too high. I think it's like maybe, I don't know, 15, 18 foot-pounds, something like that. So, yeah, the hardware looks like it's all going to work. Depending on what upper you have, obviously this one has the one bolt hole through the plenum, and it has one bolt hole underneath the plenum. So I'm going to need a 5/16 18 bolt to bolt that down. The biggest factor, though, and see if you can see this. So I scribed basically where the TrickFlow R upper gasket is going to be on the lower, and you can see there's a pretty big discrepancy. It's probably like 1/4 of an inch, and maybe I don't know, 100 thousandths in width difference. Originally I was planning on going and getting probably getting like a 1-inch street intake spacer, and I was just going to taper port it down to match the lower. That was before all this COVID-19 stuff hit. And I'm not going to pay $100 for a spacer new. I was going to buy one used at one of the swap meets, but since those have all been canceled, so had to come up with a new plan. So I'll end up porting this out to match the upper. But I just wanted to kind of show you that it will fit, and you pretty much can use all the stock hardware, like I said, except for the one bolt. There you go. So it definitely does fit. Like I said, you're going to want to port that out, or like I said, if you want to do spacer, if you don't want to spend the time to port the lower, or you don't want to tear your motor apart to port the lower, you could probably just buy a 1-inch spacer and then taper port the top of it, taper it down so you got a nice smooth transition. That should get you what you want. The hardware appears to be the same pretty much from the R series to the street. But this will help. I know a lot of these intakes are starting to hit the secondary market, swap meets and such. People are swapping over to LS engines or Coyotes. So a lot of the old aftermarket parts are starting to hit the secondary market, marketplace on Facebook and such, and they're a pretty good deal. I think I paid like $125 for that upper, and I figure I'll try to sell my my old upper to recoup the cost of that. So if you have the question like I had, picture's worth 1,000 words. Yes, it does work. Thanks for watching.